These are the books of the Old Testament arranged by genre. So you have the historical narratives. There's 17 of them, okay? The books are arranged 17, 5, 17. 17, 5, 17. These middle ones here are what's called the wisdom or poetic books. And these 17 over here are your prophetic genre. These are genres, so types of literature. So the 17 historical narrative books run from Genesis all the way to Esther. So this is all the way from the creation of the world in Genesis 1:1 all the way through Nehemiah and Esther are the two. Technically, Nehemiah has the last events of the Old Testament and Esther. And this is right before the 400 silent years. So all of this stuff over here flows into this history. Here, we'll talk about how that works. So these prophetic books, the first 5 are what are called the major prophets, for no reason than that they're just longer books than the other ones. These are considered minor prophets. These 3 right here, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, are considered post-exile prophets, whereas they funnel into these 3 historical books, which are also considered post-exile. So these prophets ministered to the people during this historical time period, whereas these really all except Ezekiel, Daniel are your exile prophets. So during the exile, when Israel was captured by Babylon and taken out of their land, Ezekiel and Daniel ministered to them during those 70 years of exile. The rest of these prophets, all of the history for them is found in Kings. Okay, so in 1st and 2nd Kings, we run through the 20 or so kings in the north of Israel, 20 or so kings in Judah, and these prophets were ministering to God's people during that time. So all of these prophets fit into that history over here. So when you study these prophetic books, you look at the historical background for them in 1st and 2nd Kings. Okay, so you have, again, 17, 5, 17. The wisdom poetic books are experiences of people within the history. So for example, Psalms, Moses wrote a psalm, David did, Asaph. There are different men who wrote psalms during the different times of history of God's people here. So this is how the structure of the Old Testament works. And if you can get this kind of outline in your mind, it makes it so much easier to understand.